Analyst says ETFs will pull institutional into altcoins next. Ethereum spot ETF drew $9.6 billion in Q3, topping Bitcoin's $8.7 billion. Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP familia. Appreciate all the love. Let's take a look at what's happening as of October 31st, Halloween. Happy Halloween to everyone, of course, that is celebrating. Again, we are seeing a lot of spooky, vibes being felt across the board. As you can see, we are seeing a lot of red on the 24-hour time frame. As far as XRP is concerned, down about 2.8%. I'm sure if you watch some of my most recent updates, I kind of, went into detail as to what's happening. If not, I got you covered. We're going to obviously get into a little bit more detail as to what's really happening. But again, if you're looking at it on a weekly time frame, XRP is still one of the very few coins that is still in green. Yes, it's not seeing double-digit gains, but we'll still definitely give credit where it belongs. So again, that is something I want you guys to realize. But again, over the last 1 hour, you're starting to see a market slowly but surely shifting back into the green. So again, we'll see how today goes. Looking at the price of XRP, $2.48, down 4% on the USD side of things, as mentioned, down 2.5% on the Bitcoin side of things. Evaluation 149 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at 5 billion. As always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. It's it's red October this time. What's your outlook for November? So again, as of recording this update, Bitcoin is on its way to close this month on a negative note, as you can see for yourselves. First time in 7 years, as you could see for yourself. Last time this happened was back in 2018, bear market. But again, we do have still not, I wouldn't say 24 hours, but we still have a lot of time left. Can we see a big miracle happening? Again, if you want to put this into perspective, I know you guys are probably asking yourself that, Bitcoin would need to see about a 5 to 6% pullback, move towards the upside. And that puts us at the 117,000, which is our confirmation. So again, could this really end up happening? Obviously, that would be a miracle. That would be quite shocking if that does end up happening. But we'll see what happens. But it seems like at this point, the chances of that are slim. What are my thoughts on November and December? I think, we have so much positive things happening for the space, but yet you're still seeing the market kind of lagging. But going back to what I said, the narrative about the ETFs, I think it could really spark in more interest for the crypto space. I know you guys are probably, talking about, well, that's not a new narrative. ETFs have been talked about for quite some time, which is true, but they're starting to go live. We've seen that with HBAR Solana, as well as Litecoin. Solana doing crazy, crazy numbers. So again, I think that could be that next narrative. And I still personally believe that November and December remaining of the year are going to be interesting in my opinion. But again, obviously time is going to tell to see how that goes. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. But take a look at this. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says crypto is real. It will be used by all of us to facilitate better transactions. And we know a few years back, Jamie Dimon was asked about Bitcoin and crypto, and he was quite skeptical. But now, these industry leaders, not just Jamie Dimon, they're starting to realize the potential of cryptocurrencies and, of course, blockchain technology. And now they are obviously enhancing, their overall, services that they provide to their clientele. And they're starting to realize that, this asset class is emerging and it's here to stay. Moving forward, Forbes posted this, Ripple's 180 billion reinvention is reshaping global finance. From cross border liquidity to institutional infrastructure, it's building the next generation of real world payment rails. Only a few understand this, in my opinion. People more focused on the native tokens price, to see what's really happening, but, just tend to, neglect, what's really happening with the broader market. I think, in the future, people are going to realize, how much of a big year 2025 really was for enhancement, for not just Ripple, but in terms of blockchain technology going to the masses, crypto going to the masses, or like starting to get to the masses. And we're starting to see that happening. So again, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. And again, if you are XRP holder, I would suggest you guys to read this. It's on Forbes.com, and you could see this article is posted there. So it's very informative, especially if you are a Ripple and XRP supporter. So let's take a look at this. It is weird how XRP has been around, since 2012, and nobody except fans seem to understand how the XRPL works. Most of the XRP community, has rudimentary understanding of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Vet is right. It's a great advantage to know. Pretty much kind of saying that people are, not paying attention or understanding how the XRPL works, except, of course, the XRP army themselves. But again, that kind of puts them ahead of the curve, in my opinion. And these industry leaders, again, these big partnerships that we're hearing, these massive partnerships that Ripple is partnering with, they understand the XRPL use case, understand the one how it's a one-stop shop. As we know, tokenization is being talked about more than ever. This is where this XRPL ledger really shines, in my opinion, especially with the regulatory clarity behind itself. That is, I think, a big plus point. When it comes to potential, industry leaders or institutions that want to tokenize or, look into, ledgers. That is where things really do come into play. Obviously, blockchain that has that regulatory clarity behind itself, is going to be a more attractive to these players rather than obviously the one that isn't. So moving forward, take a look at this. Smart money recognizes that XRP's real worth extends far beyond its current market price. Their confidence runs deep. They've made it clear they hold no doubts about its future. We take a positive attitude towards XRP's future value increase after comparing it to other currencies, cryptocurrencies. Now, a few digital assets can point to direct document remarks from a financial institution showing this level of conviction in both their long-term potential and future price appreciation. Shout out to Smoke as always for a great, post. But moving forward, speaking about tokenization, you can see BlackRock CEO Larry Fink confirms everything will be tokenized. He says, we're not spending enough time talking about how quickly we're going to tokenize every financial asset and the opportunity we're going to have a digital wallet. The race to digitize is on. And where are they going to do it? Obviously, people can look Ondo Finance or, so on and so forth. It doesn't really matter. But again, you need to really see where things are going. And again, XRPL Leisure is that one-stop shop, but that doesn't mean that it cannot attract other industry leaders, and it's already starting to do that. Of course, SBI Japan, being one of the big ones, and obviously so on and so forth. We can sit here and list all of them, but that's just something that I'm just trying to point out. But take a look at some big scoop on XRP ETF. So shout out to Eleanor says Canary Funds whose ETF for Solana and Litecoin have gone live. I'm sorry, not for Solana, for the H bar and Litecoin. They have those ETFs that have gone live. So you can see Canary Funds has filed an updated S-1 for its XRP spot ETF, removing the delaying amendment that stops a registration from going auto effective and gives the SEC government control over timing. This sets Canary XRP ETF up for a launch date of November 13, assuming the NASDAQ greenlights the 8-A filing. That is a very interesting. Are we about to see XRP ETF just weeks away? Because again, November 13th, that as of recording this update, that's about 14 days from now on, which is 2 weeks away. So could we actually see in 2 weeks an ETF that could get approved for spot XRP? That would be very interesting. So let me know in the comments down below what your personal thoughts are. And again, is this in time for Ripple 12 event? Again, next few weeks, very interesting. Obviously, that's something we want to kind of keep in mind. But do let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. But take a look at this. As far as the dominance is concerned, going into Friday morning, currently sitting at 60%. Please, kind of don't mind these drawings. This is from my previous update. You can see for yourself. We were literally sitting at 59.46%. Saw a major spike. But again, that shouldn't be a surprise to you guys because you can see, Bitcoin dropped below the 23.6. We came down to 106. But right now, we're trying to get back into the 23.6 fib zone. And that's something where we want to actually close the Bitcoin a monthly candle bare minimum, of course. So that's something I want you guys to keep in mind. But the fact that, we did see this pullback that did drag, I'm sorry, that did cause the dominance to start to show strength. But where's the price of XRP currently sitting? So XRP price is going to obviously react with this major uptick for the dominance, as I just indicated to you guys before. This took the price of XRP down almost to the neckline of the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement level. We came down to $2.38, but look at this, uptick since then. So, this obviously happened once the price of Bitcoin dropped down to 106. You can see for yourself the price of XRP did claim back up about 5%. So again, not bad, but now, we're below our $2.55. We want to see the price close above the $2.55. But again, next few weeks, very, very important. Are we about to see, an XRP ETF finally going to go live? Obviously, this is a big, big scoop. Obviously, you need to still see NASDAQ's green light, but we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys covered. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Love you all. See you later in Crypto ZX and peace.